What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and in today's video I'm going to share with you why I invested in the Detroit City Football Club. If you guys are joining as a Detroit sports fan, or maybe you're a fan of the DCFC, welcome. If you're interested in entrepreneurship or investing in startups or learning how to invest in startups, welcome, welcome, welcome. In today's video I'm going to share with you a little bit about the Detroit City Football Club, the investment terms of this opportunity, why I made the investment, breaking it down from an analytical perspective, and of course I'll be sharing some tips and tricks along the way of how you build a startup, how you analyze a startup for investment. So if that sounds interesting, if you're passionate about entrepreneurship, you're thinking about starting a business, you've come to the right place. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video, and let me know in the comments why you came here. Are you a Detroit sports fan? Welcome to Detroit, I should say. Let's get right into it. About the DCFC, it was founded in 2012, and really the slogan and the mission behind it is passion for the city, passion for the game. We're talking about the city of Detroit. If you know, I'm a Michigan native, proud, born and raised, and really the passion for the city can be felt. I attended my first match back in 2014. I actually sent out a tweet, I remember it vividly. Thank you, Detroit City Football Club, for favoriting my tweet. And really the passion and the energy and the emotion, you can feel it, you can see it. It's clear that the people who go to these games are super passionate. They're not just passionate about the game and the players, but they're passionate about the city of Detroit. And I think that plays in to the mission and the vision of what Detroit City Football Club is all about. Now, if you're wondering, how does this football team, soccer in America, fit into the greater puzzle of professional sports? I broke it down in a nice triangle. If you guys are hardcore soccer fans, football fans, let me know in the comments. But basically, you have the NISA. This is the National Independent Soccer Association, and the Detroit City Football Club is actually a part of this association. And I have a pyramid triangle here built out to show the different layers. So at the top, you have the MLS. This is Major League Soccer, and this is, the top. This is like the NFL, the NHL, the NBA, and this is really where the cream of the crop in the country are really funneled into, and that's where the money is, that's where the big sponsors are, and that's what really will get notoriety on an international level. Below that, you have the United Soccer League, USL, and then below that, you have NISA, the National Independent Soccer Association, which DCFC is a part of. Now, you might be wondering to yourself, why does it really matter? This seems like third tier down. And really, the reality is that most of the best countries in the world that play soccer, which pretty much everywhere in the world is the primary sport, regardless of what country you go to, it's all about football. And they have this pyramid structure and hierarchy really built out to develop athletes, to develop talent, and to build the base so that you can be competitive on a world level. Now, we're talking adults here, so we're not talking about age group development, 4, 5, 6, 7-year-olds, but I can see the parallels here in swimming. If you know a little bit about myself, I was a former collegiate swimmer. I still compete on a master's level and in triathlon. And really looking at why the United States is so dominant in swimming is because this pyramid hierarchy has been developed so well, and it's so good, and that's why the United States is the best swimming country in the world by far. And other countries in Europe and other places, South America, they have outstanding soccer programs because they have this structure, and the US is evolving, which makes this a really interesting opportunity. Let's talk about the opportunity itself. So the investment terms were a $10.8 million pre-money valuation. So when I invested at that pre-money, and basically that just means this is the valuation minus all of the investments that are going to come in, because you don't know exactly how much you're going to raise. So the limit was set, and actually at the time of this video, I believe the cap of over $1 million has been set. So let's say $1.2 million or $1.07 million is the max you can raise in Regulation CF was raised. You're really raising at a $11.9 million valuation. And so one share costs $125 US. That's right, for only $125, you had the opportunity to invest and own a professional sporting team in Detroit. I mean, how incredible of an opportunity. As soon as I saw the investment, I jumped on it right away. I was super pumped to get in on this. And so I bought a couple of shares. And so when you're thinking about what is the post-money valuation, what does that really mean? It basically means if you buy one share, you essentially own 0.001% of the Detroit City Football Club, which is pretty cool. So I own more than that because I got a couple shares. And so, in this offering, the total of 8,000 roughly, a little bit more, shares are being offered to the public, and that represents about 8% of the business. If you guys are familiar with like Shark Tank and you see investors pitch, so these are predefined terms, so you're not really negotiating with the founders and with the main equity owners of the business. It's already set, and through Regulation CF, Regulation Crowdfunding, you're allowed to raise up to $1.07 million in an open public offering. And I believe the Detroit City Football Club raised the $1 million in just a matter of days because the demand was so high. Thousands of investors joined in. If you guys are interested in learning more about that, make sure you check out some of my other investment videos that I've done. I've talked about investing in a number of different companies in a number of different industries. Very, very diverse. So make sure you check them out. I'll link them in the description below. If you're an entrepreneur and you're looking at raising money for your business through equity crowdfunding, I raised over $500,000 for my company in 2 different rounds of equity crowdfunding, these open public offerings, and I did a full breakdown of how we did it and how to be successful. I'll also link that in the description below. Now let's talk about this investment as an opportunity and how I came up with a solution to invest. So when you break down a startup to invest in, it's a lot different than investing in a public market company. If you guys are interested, make sure you check out the video I did, the difference between investing in public versus private companies and how you start investing in startups for beginners. So you have to analyze the problem solution, the market opportunity, market size, the business model. It's got to make sense. You have to look at the traction of the business, and it really doesn't matter the industry. You have to have some kind of traction there. Proof in the pudding to put some skin in the game. You want to look at the finances. That could be the income statement, prior financial record, anything like that. And of course, you want to make a decision based on the team. In the very beginning of a company, if it's very early on, you're investing in the team. Without the team, you're not going to have a company. So let's start out with the problem. Really, there is a big gap in talent to MLS, in the United States specifically, and this is a challenge in every city. So it's geography, but also on a national level. So that makes a lot of sense why you have the USSF and why you have NISA, the National Independent Soccer Association, to really build the base and build a funnel to the top of the sport to compete internationally. But it's also a community-based sport, right? And so the problem is that the youth in the locale, in the geography, in the city, which is Metro Detroit, they don't really have access to get into something like that, not from a fan perspective, and also not only for the spectators, but also for the athletes to really build into a program. And then in Detroit, you know, this is the soccer team, Detroit City Football Club. This is the professional sports team for soccer, and Detroit is a big sports city. But we didn't have a soccer team, and here we are today. So the solution is the Detroit City Football Club. But it's not just the team. It's really a lot more than that. It's the team, it's the brand, it's the community, and everything really associated to that. And this company, this brand, the Detroit City Football Club, is really all about community and grassroots. And there's a couple other things that we'll talk about that really tie into that grassroots effort. If you go to one of these games, you know all about it. I mean, even though myself, I'm not a soccer player, I did it when I was 8 years old, but even for myself, someone who doesn't really understand the mechanics of the game that much, I'm not your avid FIFA watcher or something, but I still respect the sport. And when you go to one of these games, when you see fans engage, I know people who are personally a part of it, whether they were players or involved in some other way, and you see the passion and you see the interest and the enthusiasm, that's really what the brand is in totality. It's not just the team. And I've gone to the FIFA World Museum in Switzerland, in Zurich, and it was amazing. And it was awesome to see what does the top of the sport look like, and what is the history behind it. And really in the United States, it's not really there yet, and it's developing at a faster rate than other areas because it's in its infancy. And that's Detroit City Football Club plays a big part of that growth story. And when we're talking about the market size, it is the fastest growing major sport in the United States. So it's not like soccer's going anywhere. This is something that you can play literally anywhere. I think it's been popularized in the media. The world popularity is definitely different today than it was 50 years ago. Before, it was all about, okay, who are we going to watch on TV when the World Cup comes around? Maybe it's in the newspaper. And today with social media, it is absolutely insane. You check out Cristiano Ronaldo's Instagram account is just, it's a case study in itself. And when you look at the popularity on an international level and how social media is impacting that, and then on a local level how it connects, there's a lot of potential here in the market. The business model is pretty self-explanatory, selling tickets, sponsorships, media placements, and of course selling brand and merchandise. And to be 100% transparent, today this business model is getting absolutely devastated. And so the brands that can withstand this and they can stick it out through the global pandemic of 2020 are the ones that will be successful, because unfortunately, any kind of business, if they're not able to adapt, if they don't have the cash flow, the cash reserves to make it through this pandemic, which could last several years, they're not going to make it. And so the business model right now is in danger. It's just not making the cash flow that it needs. but the brand, the merchandise, the sponsors, if the audience is there, if attention is there, that can endure. And I believe that, sporting events, even though they've been put on hold this year and they might not happen, for next year or even 2022, things might not get back to normal. If you have the brand, you're going to persist. Now, the traction, this company, the brand, has done 1.8 million in revenue last year, which is up orders of magnitude from years prior. 111,000 fans attended last year. That's pretty crazy. And here's the big key. 83% of fans recruited a friend to attend the game. I believe the game I went to in 2014, I actually went by myself, but I just happen to know a bunch of people that went to the game as well. And that community feel, really feel like you're a part of it. Even if you don't know anything about soccer, you don't know anything about the game, the team, anything like that, you really get sucked in and you feel a part of it, and it's contagious. There's also Keyworth Stadium. Right? So I mentioned I went to Cass Tech where I saw the game, but now there's a stadium and they've been able to get traction and getting, a professional status and joining these leagues and having a women's team come on board. So a lot of things have really developed in the last 5 to 10 years. In terms of finances, I would say this is a great investment decision that is not based on the income statement. If you look at just cash flow in and out, it just doesn't make any sense if you're investing purely on that. If you want to look at it that way, go to a public company and go invest in something that's making a lot of cash, like Apple or Facebook or something like that, something really profitable. This business is getting devastated right now. We talked about the business model. It's not going to work. I believe cash in the bank is about $1 million. Better to look at the balance sheet, look at cash on hand, cash reserves. So if the company is burning $100,000 a month and there's $1 million in the bank, raising another $1 million through this round, there's potential investors that can come in and look at this stuff. And by the way, if you guys are interested in how I know all this information, it was made public on the Wefunder platform, which is how you invest in these companies, and is also available in the Form C that every company is required to file by the SEC, Security and Exchange Commission, and you can look at everything. Everything's listed there. You can see all the equity holders, you can see who invested, how much debt the company has, when that debt is owed, and all the risks, of course. So don't take, full disclaimer here, do not take my advice on whether you should invest or not. You should always do your own due diligence and use this video purely for your entertainment purposes. Thank you for listening to my disclaimer. In 2016, they did take on debt. They raised $750,000 from 500 investors, but these were treated as a loan and they were actually paid off 2 years ahead of schedule. So that's really, really promising. And the reason why I'm investing and why I invested in the Detroit City Football Club, 5 main reasons here, and it comes back to one core theme. That's the community. They have a growing and loyal brand. People trust the brand. They resonate with it. If you go anywhere in Detroit, unless they're living under a rock, they've heard of Detroit City Football Club. And really, it's making noise on a national and even international level. There's a lot of stories being told, and that's really, really powerful. There's a fierce community of supporters. These people are diehard. Maybe they don't know anything about soccer. It doesn't matter. They just want to go to the game. They want to experience it. Now, of course, it's difficult in 2020 with what's going on, but those people aren't going anywhere. They're going to be back in 2021 or 2022 whenever we get back to a more normal. And of course, Detroit sports fans love it. Detroit sports fans are loyal. They're not going anywhere. We have a great sporting history and legacy for all of our sports. Our arenas are all very close to each other. Even though the stadium is in Hamtramck, which is relatively nearby, all the other stadiums are right downtown. So there's a great culture of sports in Detroit, and there's a great leadership team, and they have a track record. And you can really just see that by 2016 raising almost $1 million, having influential people put in cash, and now they, a couple of years later, raising another $1 million, and it just shows that raising from 2,000 investors in a really short period of time just goes to show what the leadership team is able to put together, and also that personal connection I have. Like I mentioned, in 2014, I went to Cass Tech, and I experienced this firsthand, and now 6 years later, here I am. I would have never have thought that I'd be doing what I'm doing now, investing in it and all that stuff. So this is a really cool full circle, and I'm really passionate about it. If you guys are interested in learning more, I'll link the Detroit City Football Club in the description. I'll also link a few other things in terms of how to invest in startups, a beginner's guide to doing that, and also some info on entrepreneurship. If you guys are interested in getting into the game yourself, I really appreciate your time. Again, if you haven't already subscribed to this video, make sure you subscribe. I share my experience of building my SwimPro into a global tech and media company, doing over 7 figures in revenue. Our app, my SwimPro, was named by Apple as the best app of the year, and we have a globally distributed team across 10 different time zones. if you're looking to take your business to the next level, or if you have that idea for starting a company and you're not really sure what to do next, you've come to the right place. So again, make sure you subscribe, like this video, let me know what you think of this investment opportunity, and thank you so much for watching. Have a great day and keep hustling.